Sitting up nice and tall. And since we're gonna focus on the core and the low back today, if you can, I want you to place one hand on your lower abdominal and one hand on your back body. And then send your breath into that area. So for most of us, it's easy to feel the front hand move. But I want you to see if you can connect with the back body as well. And if it hurts your shoulder to get your hand back there or whatever, like let it go or switch your arms. And let's see, I'm just gonna put this back up there. All right, so let's see. I'm just trying to switch my camera. All right, so you're breathing into your hands in the front and the back, and you've noticed whatever it is that you're going to notice. And then release those hands and let's roll through our shoulders, inhaling shoulders up, exhaling, rounding them down the back, sliding them down the back. And then we're going to pause for a moment, and I want you to think about how you feel, right? So we mentioned core, we mentioned low back. How are you feeling in this moment? And then how do you want to feel when we're done with practice today, right? So the usual questions that I ask. And then once you set your intention, you might bring your hands to your heart center, set that intention, so sealing it at our hearts. Guide head to the heart, heart to the earth. And then let's release the hands, take them onto the legs, and start to roll through your body. So this is another opportunity to check in with the belly and the back, right? Because we're stretching those muscles connected to the pelvis. We're going to stop and then go in the other direction. And you're noticing and you're feeling your breath moving. And then we'll come to a place where we pause, and I want you to, I'll turn to the side, but I want you to bend your knees. And we're not going for like how tightly can we squeeze together, have some space. Hands on the front of your knees or on your thighs. You're gonna inhale, pull yourself forward, so take those shoulders back, press your chest forward, and exhale, round the back, chin towards the chest, back is rounded, shoulders come forward. Moving with your breath. Again, checking in with how is that spine doing, the back body, your core. Can you feel it? I, of course, want to stay here for just a moment. So then next time you come up, hopefully everybody has some tennis balls. I want you to grab your tennis balls. And we're going to, so you're sitting up nice and tall. You're going to place them at the low back, and you want them wide enough so you're kind of like on the outsides of the pelvis, like the edges of the pelvis. And then leaning back, and your hands are however it's comfortable. You could be on your elbows. And then just moving your knees side to side. Yes, I can feel something here. Anybody else? Now, very carefully, we're going to explore this. And you might have to walk 1 foot away. You're going to cross one ankle over the top of that thigh. Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, you might have to walk the foot that's on the floor away a little bit more to give you more space. And now we kind of added that hip in there. Y'all can feel it. You're still breathing. And again, if it bothers your wrists, you could be, on your elbows. Now we're going to uncross, do the second side. So again, to the best of our ability, crossing at the ankle, walking that foot on the floor away if needed or desired. obviously all of you know, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. If there's any pain, you're gonna not do it. Now, again, eventually we're gonna come to a place where we stop. We're gonna take those tennis balls, and so now you have your feet together, knees up, and you're gonna go right into the center of the glutes. And yes, they are absolutely connected to the low back. And then feet come together, but you're not pulling the feet up as close as you can. And then you're gonna work your glute into each tennis ball. So this, for me anyway, is a little less intense than when we come down over onto the side of one, but you're still getting some release. We're still breathing, of course. Hopefully everybody's feeling well as we're moving. Now, eventually we're going to stop and stretch out your right leg and bring the left foot to the inner thigh. And you might need to adjust those tennis balls in a little bit. Sitting up nice and tall, we're gonna flex this foot, hands on your thigh, inhale up, exhale, slide down. And you're just moving with your breath, inhaling up, exhaling, sliding down. If this knee is floating in the air, the bent leg, you can stick a blanket or a block underneath. Now, next time we come forward, you're going to stay wherever your hands come to, reach your head towards your knee. And then coming up onto your fingertips. So bring your hands to the ground wherever they come to, and you're going to walk to one side. You're still breathing. Like, really? Then we're going to walk through the center, and you're going to walk towards your bent leg side. So my hope here is that you're getting some stretches along your side bodies. And notice if your butt starts to disconnect from the ground, you're going to press it down into the ground still. And then we'll make our way back to the center. We're going to straighten out our bent knee and bring the other foot in. And again, if the knee is up in the air, you can stick something underneath it. Our straight leg foot is flexed. Inhale, body up, exhale, slide down. Just moving with your breath, noticing all those wonderful sensations in your body. And this next time that you come forward, we're going to stay down there. Hold wherever your hands come to, take a breath or two. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk those hands over to the outside of your straight leg. And I am pressing my fingertips into the ground as I'm here, as I see those of you that I can see are doing. Breathing. Again, in your own time, you'll walk those hands to the bent knee side. Again, pressing your butt into the ground as you walk your hands away, pressing those fingertips into the ground. Long, smooth breaths. Noticing what's happening in your body. And we'll make our way back to the center. We're going to lift this knee up and bend the other leg. And we're going to take those two tennis balls and put them to the front of your sit bones. And then straighten your legs as much as you want to, because what we're going to do, you're going to take those sit bones just into the tennis ball. So you might move side to side or front to back or both. So we're trying to loosen up the hamstrings that connect into the pelvis. You're breathing. All of a sudden my body temperature went. like what happened? No, it's not that time. All right. So you're noticing hopefully some softening as we stay here, and you know, some of us are going to soften more quickly than others. So of course, if you decide like you need to come back to this, you're welcome to do that. All right, so from here, Take a moment, notice how you're feeling. We are going to come up onto one knee, and you might like to have a blanket in the middle of your mat, and then we're going to place a block on either side, and we'll start by stretching out your right leg to the side. Just gonna move that up a smidge. So we're on our knees, stretching that right leg out to the side, and you have blocks close by, right? And you'll move with your breath. So inhale is gonna be, this will be like our neutral position. Exhale, come down over to the side, and you can adjust your blocks. Inhale up, and then exhale down towards the straight leg. And try not to put too much pressure on that straight leg. Inhale up, and we're just gonna go back and forth at your own pace. So we might end up at some point in different places, and you're just noticing how it's feeling through your shoulders, your side bodies, your hips. Now, next time we come down to the left side, we're going to stay there for a moment. So you're going to keep breathing. You're pressing that right foot into the ground, stretching the left arm overhead. And we're going to turn your palm up and press. And as you press, notice, like I can feel it down into my psoas. I feel it a little bit in my back body. Notice the sensations that you feel. And then we're going to turn that palm down. Inhale up, exhale over to the straight leg side, and again, we're going to stay here. Yeah, so if it pulls at all, you can even keep that arm down. And you're going to keep breathing. And if your arm is in line with your ear, you're going to turn that palm up and again, press away. Keep breathing. And then we're going to inhale up, step in our straight leg. Pause for a moment, notice how you're feeling. How does that feel? Right? Now, before, and I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Before we do the second side, I want you to inhale those arms up and exhale, come into kind of like a child's pose, but with your hands on your back body. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And just moving at your own pace. And if you're someone where it hurts to be on your knees like this, you could do this seated in a chair or standing up. And in fact, as we do the second side, I'll model doing this in a chair. So next time you come up, you're going to stretch out that left leg. Just for a moment, I'm going to do it in the chair in case anybody at home wants to try that out. Okay? So instead of being on the knee, this leg is up. So inhale is going to be arms extended. Exhale over. And I came to the straight leg first, I know. Inhale up. And then you could come down onto a block or even onto your knee. And moving at your own pace, inhaling up, exhaling over. What's interesting, either way that I do this, I'm still getting all the same stretches in my side bodies and my shoulders. So it's really a nice option if you can't be on your knees. So you're continuing to move side to side. Now the next time that you come over to the block side, the right side, we're going to stay here. So you're extending through your body, noticing sensations. And we're going to turn that palm up and press away. Keep breathing. And then turning that palm down, inhaling up, exhaling over to the straight leg side. And again, you could have that, hand released. Again, if anything causes pain, we don't do it. We're going to turn that palm up and press. If your arm is overhead, beautiful. Palm down. Inhale, let's come up. We're going to bring that knee in. And now we have those blocks in front. We're going to step the right foot forward and slide your left knee back. So you're opening up the front of that hip flexor a little bit. That feels pretty good. Now, and you're moving at your own pace, right? So some of you might want to stay here a little bit longer. Some of you are going to straighten that front leg. Now notice my butt doesn't drop onto my heels. Flex the foot and then head comes towards the straight leg. And if you hyperextend, you're going to keep a little bend in that knee. Or if it hurts when you straighten that leg. And so you can move front to back. You can also do this if you have trouble with the knees on the ground. You can do this with your knee off the ground. Just remembering when you straighten that front leg, you come onto the heel and flex the foot. And you're just moving at your own pace. Feels really good. Now, one of these times when we come forward, we're going to put the foot on the ground. And again, this can be done with your hand, with your knee on or off the ground. You're going to take your hands onto the floor, onto some blocks, and start to open up your shoulders. Right? So you're pulling your shoulders back. You're not dropping your head back. Your vision will stay forward, but you're opening up here. And then possibly you're going to bring those hands onto your thigh or up in line with your ears. And you're still breathing. Everybody's doing okay. Now we're going to take those hands down and either, again, with that back knee on the ground or lifting it up. Sometimes I like to lift it up when I do a twist. We're going to keep the left hand down, bring your belly towards the inner thigh. You're on different sides. Yeah, so keep your right hand down. Yes. You're like bookends. Now you can keep this hand on the thigh, or you can reach it up towards the sky, whatever feels good in that shoulder, right? Long, smooth breaths. On one of your exhales, we're going to bring that hand down to the ground. We're going to step the back foot forward and then switch sides and gently bring that knee onto the ground if you're, keeping it on the ground. And you'll start by letting your weight come forward. Your weight's in that front foot, opening up the hip flexor, noticing how things feel without forcing anything, of course. And then when and if you're ready, straightening your front leg, bringing your head towards your knee, flexing that foot. What is going on in the back of the leg? Still breathing. And at your own pace, deciding, do you want to move back and forth, or do you want to stay in one or the other position for any length of time? Now, next time that front knee is bent, we're going to keep your back leg hand on the ground. You might lift that knee up off the ground. Your front leg hand goes onto the thigh, belly towards the inner thigh. At first, we're pressing the hand into the thigh as we twist. And then some of you might bring that arm up towards the sky or keep it pressing into the thigh. Only extending if it enhances the twist. Continuing long, smooth breaths. can turn that body towards the ground, hand to the ground. We're gonna step the back foot forward. Bring your hands onto your thighs. And let's inhale halfway up and exhale in more deeply towards your legs. So your feet are hip width apart. Inhaling halfway up, exhaling in towards your legs. Noticing how your breath is moving, how your body feels. Now, next time you're down in your forward bend, using your hands on the floor or a block, we're going to walk the hands over to one side. And as you do that, press your feet into the ground and release your hip in the opposite direction. So we're stretching the outside of that hip. Deep breathing. In your own time, inhaling through the center, and then taking the second side, and again, pressing your feet into the ground as you release the hip to the opposite side of where your hands are. And eventually making our way back to the center, hands onto the legs, inhaling, sliding all the way up. And just for a moment, let's find a tennis ball and roll through your feet. And you all know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I like to do this, especially when we're talking about stress and tension, because it really helps to relieve some of that by rolling your feet. If you don't like rolling on tennis balls, you can massage them with your hands. And keep breathing. We could just do this for the rest of the time. I'd be pretty happy. All day.
Nice.
Yeah.
All class, right? Like this area.
I have actually thought about that. Like, how fun would that be?
It's all yoga.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna set that tennis ball to the side. Now, as you come to the front of your mat, I want you to, since we're focusing on the lower part of the body, I want you to just take a moment, and you might put your hands there or not, but I want you to connect with the lower part of the body. And then you might have your hand on a wall or the back of a chair. Those of you in the room, like on the bar behind you, holding on to your body. And then we're going to take both hands to the front so that your fingers are kind of like along the edges of where your body meets your thighs. What I want you to do is I want you to lift up your leg, not quickly, right? Lift it up, bring it down. Because I want you to notice what's happening. Like, can you feel those muscles in the front of the body connecting as you lift those legs? And you're still breathing. This is not a rapid motion. Then, keeping those hands there if possible, and you could have one hand, on the wall. You're standing with your feet hip width apart. You're going to take one leg behind you and bring it back down. So we're not going to bend the leg this time. You're just going to take the straight leg behind you and bring it in. You're just noticing how it feels in your body as you're moving your legs. Now, next time your second foot comes down, what I want you to do is you're going to have your weight on your right foot, reach for your left ankle and take that heel towards your buttock. And again, you might have your hand on the wall. And then you're going to move that knee front to back. You're still breathing, getting a nice little stretch in that thigh. And then we're going to do the second side. Same thing, reaching for the ankle. And if your hand doesn't come to your ankle, you can use a strap. And of course, you're checking out how does everything feel as you're moving. And we're going to release that leg. We're going to find a block and place it between your thighs. For what we're going to do, I like the narrowest way of the block. You can also use a folded towel at home. So here, what I want you to do, and the reason that we're using the block, I want you to squeeze the block with your thighs. So at first, we're just gonna squeeze in, right? Squeezing in like you're trying to smush the block. And then you're gonna squeeze in and forward like you're trying to press that. And you'll notice I'm using my hands, not just so that you can see, but also kind of as a connection with my body and my breath, like I'm trying to push that block forward using those inner thighs. Now we're gonna go the opposite way, like you're trying to push that block back. And I know it might be like, how is this connected to the core and the low back? And it is, right? Because we're trying to bring things in, right? And to engage. All right, so then we're going to hold on to the block, but without a lot of effort. And you're gonna inhale, those arms up. Exhale, sit like you're sitting into a chair. Inhale up, exhale down. If it hurts your shoulders at all, just keep your hands on your thighs. And our goal here, I mean, so many things are happening, right? But is to not drop that block. Now, next time you come down, we're gonna stay down, bring those hands onto our thighs. Again, trying to hold on to that block, we're gonna shift the weight onto the front of the toes and lift the heels up, so now you're in a balanced chair. If it feels better, you can have your arms in another position, heart center, in front, whatever feels good for you to find this balanced chair. You're gonna keep breathing. And then very carefully, let's place those heels down on our exhale, slide into a forward bend. Again, you have a block close by, maybe we're gonna walk the hands over to one side, shift the hips away, and you're holding onto the block, because remember, that's our goal, right? Hang on to the block. Between the thighs, come through the center, second side. And in your time, you come through the center, we're gonna hang on to the block. Inhale, come on up. Now we're gonna hold that block between our hands. So here, we have that block between our thighs, block between our hands. And we're gonna inhale up and exhale, come down. Keeping your heels on the ground, inhaling up, exhaling down. Next time we're in our little chair position, arms in line with the shoulders, you're gonna shift, arms over to the side, inhale center, exhale to the second side. And again, if this hurts your arms at all, you can let go of the block, because the block does add some weight and restriction, right? Moving with your breath. Now, next time you finish the second side, we're gonna inhale up, you're still holding on to that block. You're gonna bend the elbows, keep them in towards the head, take the block behind you. And then we're just gonna move, inhale up, exhale, block down. Still holding on to the block between our thighs. And one more time, we're gonna come behind the head, and now you're gonna, I'll sit down so you might be able to see. You're gonna take that block to the back of your head and press your elbows in, right? Does that make sense? And then I want you to press the base of your skull, right? That's touching the block, press it back. So you're not trying to bring your chin up towards the sky, we're pressing the head back. Sometimes I would say, like, move your ears back, and people are like, ah. Does that make sense? Can you feel those muscles in your neck working a little bit? Okay, then you're gonna release, pressing the head, inhale those arms up, exhale them down, and let's get rid of all the blocks. And just take a moment to notice, like, yeah, wiggle your body, how did that feel? Like pressing in, right? Bringing everything in. All right, let's come towards the front of your mat, and hands are on your legs. We're gonna inhale up, exhale down into a forward bend. We're gonna step back with your right foot into a lunge. You might have blocks under your hands. And here, what I want you to do, so now you're gonna center that right foot, and you're gonna just lift up your back leg and bring it down. Because our legs, have a lot of muscle, right? And we're lifting them up off the ground, and we need to use our core to do that. Nice. Now, next time that leg is parallel with the floor, you're going to explore taking your hands onto your standing leg, or one, or both, and breathe. Maybe your body comes up a little bit so that it's parallel, the foot is flexed. Hands come down, you're going to bring the foot down in line with your foot in the front. And then we're going to step back with your right foot. So now you're on the second side in your lunge. Hopefully everybody's on their second side. And again, we're going to explore lifting that back leg off of the ground. Now, next time again that it's parallel with the floor, you'll explore lifting one or both hands onto your standing leg, maybe bringing your body parallel, flexing your lifted leg foot. Keep breathing. Beautiful. Now, eventually, the hands will come down. We're going to take that back foot and place it onto the ground. In our forward bend, let's hold on to our elbows and move your body side to side, a gentle little swinging motion. Still breathing. Now, we're going to explore something, and if this doesn't work, we'll move on. You're going to explore wrapping your arms around your legs and maybe holding on to your elbows. And then bending and straightening your legs. And an option, if your hands don't wrap around your legs, would just be to keep your hands on the blocks or the floor and bending and straightening. And then carefully releasing the arms, taking the hands onto the legs. Inhale, coming up. Let's roll through those shoulders. How's everybody doing? Okay. Warm. So I'm wondering, I don't want to use the strap for this. Let's take your right arm up, bend the elbow, take your hand onto your back body. Just roll like you're going to make circles, one or two in each direction. Right? Just seeing how that shoulder works. And then let's do the second side. Just getting some movement that you might not get in your regular everyday life. Now from here, we are going to grab a chair, and what I want you to do is you're going to sit towards the edge of your chair. All right. Now the only thing is, if you're at home, you don't want to use a squishy chair for this because that won't work very well. You want to make sure that you have all of the legs of your chair on your mat. All right, so now what you're going to do, we're going to stand up, right? And so I'm just going to move this up a little bit. You're going to stand up. I call these touch and goes. I used to work in an airport bar a long time. I'll turn to the side so you can see me. But when you're learning to fly, that's when you learn how to touch down and take off again. Touch and go. So we're going to inhale up and exhale. Touch your bottom to the chair and inhale up. And you could have your hands on your thighs And you're just touching, so we're not sitting in the chair. Notice how that feels, no rush. Move with your breath. Inhale up, exhale, touch. And the next time that you come down onto the chair, I know that could be considered torturous almost, but it's actually so wonderful for us, right? Let's have your feet about hip width apart. And we're gonna do a little twist here. So you're gonna take your right hand to the outside of the knee and then your other hand onto the back of the chair. Your body is nice and tall. And you're moving as deeply as it feels comfortable in your shoulders. Now on an inhale, let's lift up, lengthen the body, come back to the center, and then we'll do the second side. So left hand to the outside of the knee. Keep your feet flat on the ground so you're totally grounded through your pelvis and your feet. And then you're using your arms to help you twist, your arms in the chair. And again, let's inhale up, exhale, come forward. You're gonna take your feet a little bit wider. Make sure you're not gonna slide off your chair. Come into a forward bend, chin is towards the chest. Shoulders maybe in between your knees. And notice how doing this forward bend on a chair, like how that might feel differently. Like I feel like I get more of a stretch in my upper back body because I can take my body like further past my legs because of being sitting in the chair. And then very carefully, let's make our way up. We're gonna get rid of the chairs. We're gonna use them a little bit later. We're gonna come all the way down to the ground. So you're thinking about how to safely transition onto the ground. And then once you are on the ground, what I want you to do, you could have blocks behind you, right? You're gonna have your hands behind you. So, and some of you might like a little blanket under your bottom. And what I want you to, so you could have blocks here if it doesn't feel comfortable on your hands. What I want us to do is to lift one leg up. You're just gonna tap this leg. Right? Now, while you're doing that, I want you to think about your core. Right? So I want you to think in and up as you're moving. So in and up with your pelvic floor. And then next time we're gonna, because the pelvic floor is the bottom of the core, right? Like that is part of the core. Now, second side, and again, you're just lifting up that leg and tapping down. You're like, oh, this is really easy. And we can do a lot of hard work with easy movements, which I love. All right. Now, you might come down onto your elbows, you might stay onto your hands. We're gonna take both feet off the ground one at a time. And some of you, it might feel easier to lay flat, like if you're feeling like it's too much in your core, we're gonna stretch out one leg. Don't drop it to the floor, bring it in. Stretch out the other leg. So move with your breath. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you bring it in. Alternating sides. So if you feel like any pulling in your neck, any discomfort in your torso or your low back, you're gonna come down to the floor and do those same movements. Okay, so that is a definite option for you. Now, next time you finish your second side, very carefully, you're going to come all the way down onto your back body. Bring those knees into your chest. I know somebody's saying, who said we wanted to work on core today? Nobody's saying that. So now for this next part, and you have those chairs close by, if you're at home, you could actually do this with your feet on the edge of a sofa or a bed as well. We're gonna take those chairs and put them at the end of our mat and put our feet on the edge of the chair. So now I've walked myself in so I can hold the front legs of the chair. And then you're going to explore where it feels good to have your feet. And what I want you to explore is lifting up your hips. And once you lift up your hips, you don't want to turn the head, you want to keep your head pointing towards the ceiling so you don't interfere with blood flow to the brain. So you're gonna inhale, lift up, and then you might drop your hips a little and lift up again. You're just moving through your hips. And if you don't like this, you can absolutely do this with your feet on the floor, right? Now, next time you exhale, let's bring the low back all the way down to the ground. Slide your feet onto the chair, and you can move yourself away so you have a little bit of room. And we're gonna keep the left leg on the chair, take the right leg off, and you're gonna pull that leg towards your body. And we'll start with a straight leg, so some of you might like to hold on to like the back of your calf or your ankle, and you're gonna keep breathing. A little stretch through the back of the leg. Now bending that knee, let's hug that knee in towards your chest, and then take your whole leg, just that one leg in a circular motion. Nice. And then we'll return that leg to the chair. Just take your other leg off the chair. And again, start to bring it towards your body, hands wherever it works for you. We start off with the leg, for the most part, straight. Keep breathing. Yeah, and I see some of you pointing and flexing, rolling through your feet. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Now, when you are done stretching the back of the leg, we're gonna bring that knee in towards the chest, same side that we're working on, and then take that knee and whole leg in a circular motion, a couple of times in each direction. And when you're done with that, we're gonna take the feet or lower legs back onto the chair. Now here, we're gonna rest, so your calves are on the chair or whatever you have your feet up on. And what I want you to explore, and this is gonna be a smaller movement, so I want you to kind of see how your body responds. We're gonna press, your arms are down along the side, you're gonna press your hands into the floor, and you're gonna inhale while your back body's on the floor, and exhale, you're gonna lift up those hips. Inhale as you relax the pelvis onto the floor. Exhale, lift it up. And we're not going for like these huge movements. I mean, it might be that you just barely disconnect from the floor, right? Moving through that pelvis. So one of the things we want to do, especially when you have low back pain, it's not that we don't want to use it. We want to strengthen it in a gentle way. Right? Strengthen the core and the low back, so the front and the back of the lower part of the core. And we want to build strength without creating more pain, right? So next time your hips come down to the floor, you're gonna pause for a moment. And then I'm going to invite you to do this as a supported pose. And I realize like some of you, once we stop moving, you might start to get cooler. So you may want to put like shirts on or socks. We're gonna stay here for a moment though, probably like a minute or so. Just relax with our legs up on the chair. Long, smooth breaths. And you might take your hands to the lower part of your torso with the things pointing down towards the pubic bone, like your index fingers and your thumb Make a triangle as you hold your hands on the lower part of your body. And relax with your breath, letting your body be heavy on the floor. This is a great time to check in, like, how does your body feel? Now, if you feel like you need a little bit more of a release in your hips, I'm going to invite you to cross that left ankle over your right knee and then explore sliding that right heel towards your body, right? So it's like a prone sort of pigeon pose. It has so many different names. But the leg that's crossed over is flexed, as both feet are flexed, and you're just sliding that foot in, and you might slide it in and keep it there, or you might slide back and forth, right? You're gonna see what feels good in your body. Now, without any forcing, you're just noticing what is, moving if that feels good, or not moving if that feels good. Now, when you feel fairly complete on that side, we'll take the left leg onto the chair and cross over the right ankle. And without using your hands, you're just using your muscles to press that right knee away. Again, both feet are flexed, and you might start to slide that left heel in. Exploring, does it feel good to continue to move? Breathing and softening as you breathe. Now, again, eventually we're going to come to a place where we stop sliding the foot, we uncross, and this is where you're going to think about where you might want to be for Shavasana. Now, one of the things I noticed here, having my legs lifted, my head wants to turn. So before you move into Shavasana, you might move your head. So inhaling, face pointing towards the sky, your eyes can be closed. Exhaling, bringing one ear towards the floor. Inhaling, center. Exhale, other ear towards the floor. So if that sounds inviting, moving through your head, side to side for a few breaths. And then you're going to think about, how do I want to be for Shavasana? And if you need anything from the supply closet, you'll let me know. So getting yourself warm, comfortable. And checking in as you settle in, is there anything that would feel even better in this position? Long, smooth, gentle breaths, inviting your mind and body
yourself to be completely supported by the ground beneath you. breath to your body, noticing how you're feeling today, how does your low back feel, what movements would help you to gently reawaken. Noticing if anything feels tender or needs some extra attention. Whenever you get yourself up, and you can do this breathing that we're going to do laying down as well, I want you to bring your hands onto the lower part of the body like we did with laying down. So your tips of the thumbs come together, your fingers are pointing down, you're breathing into the lower part of the body. Filling up your hands as you're breathing, and then exhaling and watching as those muscles contract. So feeling the movement of the lower part of the body as you breathe. Noticing the warmth of your hands, your natural healing powers that each of us have for ourselves. Then you do that for a really long time, but when you're ready, you can release your hands. Let's close with bringing our hands to our heart center and just a nice little I'd like to thank all of you for being here and thank all of my teachers along the way